looked up, it was about 10 feet straight up, looking at it like on somebody sitting on top of a mountain.
Looking at a king.
It's exactly what it was. And he started mumbling words, and I'll tell you what, I swear to goodness, for the life of me, I couldn't even translate what he was saying because he used to mumble in a southern drawl. I kept looking at my father, and he kept nodding, smiling. My brother kept nodding, smiling. So I thought they knew what they said. But we met for a half hour, and the trip went well. I met the coach, and they were having a new recruit named Lee Rinker, who was a real good friend of mine in high school. And he was from Florida. He was one of the best players ever to come out of Florida, and he was going to go there, so we decided to go together. But what sold it to me was I got a poster or a letter from Bear Bryant about a week after we left, and he sent a life-size poster of himself with a whole writing. And Coach Bryant always had all these writings, of just sayings for life. And he wrote a message on there for my brother that was just, he didn't send it to me, he sent it to my brother about winners. And it just hit a place at home in my heart, and I said, boy, that's where I'm going to go. Because I didn't make an impression on him, but my brother did. And that just seemed to hit home a little bit more than anything else.
Well, Kevin, I know I had a chance to go down to school down in Alabama. I went to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and I know the University of Alabama didn't even think we existed out there at the time. But you
guys started getting good, and we didn't want to play again.
they just revered Bear Bryant down there, and so I mean that had to be quite a thrill going down there to play. You mentioned Judge was talking about your high school team. And I know, I'm proud.
Let's not start the debate.
There is no debate. There is no debate. We were chasing. We always wanted to chase Bend North's records. I just want to know
you definitely want to see if anybody ever beat us. Well, you got to understand, Gene Elliott, who's not too bad a player, he got to play. Gene, because he was a year younger, got to play number 2. And we had a kid named Greg Tevitt he had won Junior World twice by the age of 14, and later went to play at the University of Iowa. He was our 3rd player. We had 2 PGA professionals on our team that couldn't even play on our squad.
Holy moly.
Dave Pfister, who was a really good player of pro at Short Hills and Pinnacle Country Club, now lives in Florida, and a pro named George Henry were both on our high school team but couldn't play in any of our meets. Never played in one.
Who was the other 2 guys? Judd and I were trying to remember. I know Donnie Peterson was one.
Donnie Peterson, he played, I think he came either 2nd or 3rd when we were juniors at the state high school, or the state amateur. He was streaky. And we had a kid named Joe Kuhn, who's a member at Crow Valley, who played number 5 for us. And we had a strong bunch of good players that played right behind us.
Did you guys ever lose it all in high school?
No, never.
That's amazing depth. What was your home course in those days?
We played a course called Palmer Hills, which is one of the better public courses over in Bettendorf. It was brand new when we started. And, boy, to see who would play in the top 4 or 5, our coach used to have, we counted every single round we played, whether it was a meet or practice, and our averages were all just under 34. We were like a 33.888. We'd go to the thousandth decimal point, try to separate between 1, 2, 3, and 4. And just one little hint, I remember going to Muscatine Municipal as a junior and shooting 33, and my score didn't count.
Oh, my word.
3, you figure that one out. You shoot 300 and your score does not count.
That is depth.
Well, there was a little bit of golf being played in the Quad Cities there, and certainly you had a golf pro at Crow Valley who could play a little bit there at that time too.
Oh,
wasn't that Harmon?
Yeah, he wasn't too bad. No.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. He was absolutely the greatest, I want to say, motivator for all the kids around here. The program in the Quad Cities jump started especially at Crow Valley, with all the kids that went through there. You got Gene Elliott and Greg Tevitt, and they had Tom Garside, they had Tim Howard, they had Donnie Peterson. We had so many great junior players that jumped up out of there. It's because of Butch. And, these are kids that won all these huge tournaments in Chicago. And around Iowa, it was easier for most of us to go to Chicago than it was to Des Moines back then.
Hey, Kevin, before we let you go, I got one question. When you met the Bear, did he have the houndstooth hat anywhere in the area? Did you see it?
Are you kidding me? He had probably 6 in his office. You know what? It would be 900 degrees in the summer. And, Coach Bryant, when I went down there, they had just built a brand-new course because he started getting into golf. The doctor told him he had to do something healthy. So they built a brand-new university golf course, practice facility. Coach Bryant was getting into playing golf, and it got to be a little crazy around there, but he'd be out there when it'd be so hot, and he'd go out and play with his old cronies, and he'd have that houndstooth hat on even when it was just sweltering hot, day after day.
Well, great stories. Finally got you on. We're going to have you on more often. It's certainly a pleasure for me. I haven't got a chance to meet you. Maybe I'll meet you down during the John Deere Classic. But let's plan on being a regular contributor, hopefully, to On the Tee, if you would.
I would be more than happy. I always, I sit and listen to Horty. For years and years, I've known that Forrest guy, and his advice would be super to listen to.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll be back on the tee. We'll talk to Clair Peterson from the John Deere Classic in a Quad Cities themed night here on the tee on the Iowa Sports Connection Radio Network.
The Iowa Lottery's new scratch game, Cash Bonanza, has more different ways to win. So there are more different kinds of winners, like the hyperventilator.
I won!
And the Yes Man.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! All right! Uh-huh! You know it, baby. Oh, yeah!
Cash Bonanza from the Iowa Lottery. What kind of winner would you be if you won?
Golf enthusiast, you have to see this for yourself. It's Four Seasons Golf Practice Center located south of Newton on Reasoner Road. No matter what the weather, year-round golf is now a reality with Four Seasons Golf Practice Center. Here's what you'll see. Heated bays hitting from inside to a range outside, perfect for rainy, cold days. Indoor and outdoor putting and chipping greens. Outdoor lighted range. Enjoy a full-size clubhouse serving beer, drinks, appetizers with 7 high-definition TVs. Banquet facilities available for weddings, graduations, and parties of all kinds. For information, visit them online at fourseasonsgolfpracticecenter.com.
The Preserve on Rathbun Lake is Iowa's newest premier golf destination, located at Honey Creek Resort State Park in south central Iowa. This gorgeous setting provides a perfect course for everyone with 5 sets of tees. The Preserve was ranked one of the top 10 best new public courses by Golf Digest and Golf Magazine. The ideal location for family or business gatherings with more amenities on any one property in Iowa. The Preserve on Rathbun Lake for an experience second to none. Call 641-724-1400 or 877-677-3344 or log on to honeycreekresort.com.
Every day you make the
And that's a good segue because we're going to talk to the director right now, and he's Clair Peterson. We've been talking to a lot of boys over there in the Quad Cities tonight, my friend.
Well, that's good. The place is hopping. We got a lot going on here when you start talking golf.
Yeah, we talked to Todd Fowler a little earlier and talked to Kevin Denike just now. And I'll tell you what, we could have talked to Kevin for an hour in the history of his golf success.
Oh, I remember Kevin when he was like a 9-year-old kid at Duck Creek public golf course here. He grew up on a golf course, and he's a quite accomplished player and a nice guy.
Well, you're only 4 weeks away now. From an Iowa perspective, at least, we've poured a lot of energy into the conversation on a record-setting, successful Principal Charity Classic that just wound down this Sunday with Nikki Price's win. Now it's time to put all the energy and focus on your great event, and of course, you had your media day yesterday with Steve Stricker.
Yeah, having the number 4 ranked player in the world as your defending champion is a great situation to be in. Plus, he's just such a terrific individual. In addition to being a great athlete, he's got a lot of those same personality characteristics that Zach Johnson does. He's humble, he's appreciative, he's hardworking, and for a Midwestern event, he couldn't represent us any better. So he drove down from Madison. He had his father-in-law and his brother-in-law with him. We had about 50 media outlets represented here, and it was a terrific day. He explained how much this event meant for him to win, again, because he's from the Midwest and he respects what goes on here, understands that a lot of these Midwestern events and small market events have disappeared from the PGA Tour. Milwaukee just disappeared after last year, so it was a terrific day, and all the media and everyone there was reminded what a good guy he was and what a great golfer he is. Number 4 in the world is a pretty nice place to be ranked.
Well, Clair, talk a little bit. You talked about a smaller market event, and you guys have done a great job in upgrading the fields over the last few years. But Steve did talk yesterday about some new rules on the PGA Tour that may or may not take place next year. And how do you feel about that? The PGA Tour kind of legislating to players on a few events that they'd like them to play in each year.
Well, I actually was at that meeting representing the Tournament Advisory Council, the TAC. I sit on that board. And anything that gets more players into more events is a good thing for the PGA Tour. I don't care what event you represent. There's an ebb and flow